Welcome in. It is day 205, and you're speaking to the Meeples Champion. And today, we're going to be going into a category of game I don't often go into, party games. I have a few, but those are not the type of game I buy anymore. Most of those games are bought by my siblings. I have a bunch of sisters who all love party games, and that's what they tend to go towards. So I borrowed a few from them. I've got one that I grabbed for today that I played recently with the family, and I'm really excited to see where this one lands for us. The game is called the Chameleon. Now, in the Chameleon, the idea is that we're all trying to give clues to a particular word that all of us but one know what it is. The way that this game works is that you pull out a piece of paper and it's going to have rows and columns with letters and numbers. We're going to then get passed out a bunch of cards. You have a green deck and a blue deck. You pass out one of the colors, so all of the green. Everybody looks, and then they roll a 4-sided and a 6-sided die. Based on the two numbers you get, you figure out which one of the locations it's pointing to. You take that to go back to the main sheet that everybody can see and figure out, of the 16 possibilities, which one is it. Now, everybody should know, so long as they didn't mess up, which happens, everybody should know which one they're trying to discover. So now, whoever was the person who was first, you have to all prepare. When everybody says they're ready, you're going to give a one-word clue. You have to go quick, though. The longer somebody takes to give a clue, or if somebody duplicates somebody else's, it makes them look suspicious. So you're going to go around the board and everybody's going to give a clue. Now it's discussion time. Based on the clue that was given, everybody has to figure out, without mentioning what it is that they're trying to figure out, why somebody seems right or wrong. You basically are trying to figure out, well, we all have the same group of 16, and we all had the same basically key to get to there and figure out what it was. But one of us got a chameleon card, meaning they had nothing to go by. So they just had to wing it. So now we're trying to figure out whose answer, either if they were the chameleon early on, doesn't fit at all, and it makes sense because they had no clues, or they were later on and they were able to try to put something together from that first or second clue to maybe get something generically in there, but they probably don't know what it is. But you have to do this to the best of your knowledge without giving up what it was, because at the end, everybody's going to at the same time point at whoever they think it is. Whoever gets the most votes is going to be the one that's chosen. If it's a tie, the person who led the round is going to be the one that chooses. So if they're the chameleon, good for them. But other than that, you do this, and then if the chameleon is found, they have an opportunity to guess which word it is. And if they get it, they get a point. If they were not found, they would got 2 points. And if they were found but they couldn't get it, then the rest of the group gets a point. And then you just decide on how many points you want to go for. It's simple, and yet it's so much fun. We played loads of rounds of this. We played it on 2 different occasions in the last month, and we probably played for like an hour plus both times. And it was really, really good. But why don't we jump into our 7 categories and see where this game lands for me. When it comes to the art, I totally understand what they're going for here. The game is called Chameleon. It's one of those hidden word puzzles. So if you look at the front, you can see the word chameleon is mixed in here. It's very creative. I think it's great for what the game is. It fits its theme very well. And because it's a party game and you're going specifically for that, it does well. But outside of those, the box doesn't really grab me, and the inside doesn't really grab me. I think for the party game majority and people who've already played the game, this is fine. But for those that you're trying to get new into the hobby or into this game, it does not attract your eyes. I have to give it a thumbs down. When it comes to those components, so you've got your 2 die, which are great. Then you've got your cards that go around, which are really well done. These aren't like little like playing cards or anything. These are big cards and bigger cards. And they're all really a good, like they put some money into these. These are not going to easily tear. These are really nicely done. So I actually think for what's in there, you got a good setup. So thumbs up. Your price. So when it comes to that price, this is in that $30 range. And while there's not a lot inside the box, it's not like it's just a few cards and you can just replicate this. There's a big stack of the cards of the 16 answers. And then there's a stack of green and a stack of blue cards. The reason they do that is that you're supposed to play this in rounds and figure out who gets like the most points to give yourself a value to get to. So after you do round one, you then you're shuffling the green cards that you just used while somebody else has dealt out the blue cards. And it's to make sure that people aren't able to easily track the chameleon card. So they're trying to do their best to not let somebody either A, cheat, or B, accidentally cheat, where you don't intend to, but it's very clear and you're like, I know which card was the chameleon. I know it's still that one. By doing this, you've removed the cards from the table, somebody shuffled them to the side, and everybody forgets about them while you play a whole round. And then the next round comes and they come out again. I like that. So I think they do a good job of what's in that box to the price. Thumbs up. Difficulty. This is definitely a game that an entry-level player can play and that a experienced player can play. An expert player, for the people following my channel, I think that this is not our normal game. I think most of us aren't big party gamers. But if you're going to play a party game with your family and you have to sit there and I don't want to use the word suffer through, but play a game that you normally don't like. This game really hit good for me. I'm not going to pick it to play with my friends. On game night, I want to play a real game. But for a fun family night, this was really, really good. I think that this one fits for them. And I think the expert players will be okay with this because it's still got a good little mind puzzle to it. And that's social deduction. As far as the kids go, I think that if you have a bunch of them together and at 10 years old, I think they could do this, but it might be tough if they're playing with like adults. So this is probably more of a the parents are teaching the kids when they're playing it, or the kids play with other kids. I don't think this will be as good for the kids to be jumping in and playing with aunts and uncles because I think that those aunts and uncles will be on a higher level than them and they're going to feel lost during the game. But overall, I think they do really good for the difficulty. Thumbs up. Replayability. There is no question to me that when it comes to the games I've reviewed through all these years, this year, this is near the top of the list for replayability. It's literally built on play it over and over and over again. I played it, I told you, at two different occasions. One of them, we played it twice in the same day. All three times was over an hour, and we played probably like 6 or 7 rounds minimum per each hour. It's fast, it's fun, it's really easy to get back to the table. Thumbs up. Keys to victory. So your keys to victory, again, it's all about, okay, are you playing not as the chameleon? You want to give a word that is close to it, but not too obvious. At the same time, you know who you're playing with, and if you know them well enough, you might know a word that somebody will totally understand, but somebody else won't. For instance, when me and my sisters were playing, one of my sisters I knew watched a TV show that I watched, and I gave a clue that only she would get. And at that point, unless I was unlucky and she was the chameleon, the odds were now we could back each other. And as a result, she would know I knew it 100%. I would know from her word if she got it. And now we could try to figure out from there. So having that one-on-one connection would be great because now you've got somebody to team with. You can be like, we're good. Let's point at somebody else. So you've got that. Then you've got the possibility of, well, I don't know what I can do other than just be very, very straightforward. So you just have to be as straightforward as you can be so everybody knows you know it because you're not sure how to give like a halfway clue and just hope that the other person has no clue what you're talking about. And that essentially it's one of those, well, if it's like that person, they've never seen this and they'll have no clue what I'm talking about. But these other three do. So if that's the chameleon, this is a perfect clue. And if this any of those three, I'm in trouble, but I'm taking a risk. So that's another way. From the chameleon's point of view, they can copy somebody's word. They can try to just quickly think in their head of like, okay, if they said hard, I'll say rock or I'll say tough. Trying to take a synonym of somebody else's word, or try to take a couple words and quickly think of something in that ballpark. Try to look at the thing, and as people are giving words really quick, if you're like last or second to last, if you're lucky and you can get a couple words and quickly look at the board and be like, that fits one of these three, I'll just give a clue based on one of those three. And you're hoping your clue is of the exact thing that it is. There's a lot of different ways to do it. It's all up to your assessment of how to, A, from the point of view of those trying to give the clues, trying to be straightforward, not straightforward, work with everybody or work with somebody specific, Or B, from the chameleon's point of view, trying to mimic somebody, trying to deduce it really quick, or if you're early or late and you have to just take your shots. I think there's a lot of keys to victory here. It's got to be a thumbs up. It's unique. So I think I've seen plenty of games where there is a spy and you have to find the spy. That's essentially what this is. It's a spy game. The thing I think is unique about the game is the fact that the spy is giving a clue and that it's done in a way where they don't have a lot of time to deduce anything. So if you're looking from that perspective, I don't know another game where that spy is really put on the spot and they have to come up with a word that quick. I think that that's really unique about the game. So I'm going to give it a thumbs up. Overall, what do I think? Is it a game I would add to my collection? No. But if somebody bought it for me, would I be upset? No, because I do think it's a good party game. I just would prefer not to get many party games these days because in my setup, my family and friends who don't want to play the big games and want party games have the party games. They don't need them from me. So it's one that I think for my viewers, know your situation, know your game group, know your family, know your non-game group friends. And if you're the type that is like me and likes to buy these style games, don't go out and buy this, but give it a try. Maybe you want to suggest it to a family member and see if somebody ends up liking it. And either they buy it or you can gift it to somebody that you know loves doing the party game night. That way, you have the game as an option to play when you see them. It's a game you can enjoy when you know they're not going to enjoy the games you want. And you don't have to put it into a shelf space for yourself when you really don't want to be wasting the money and the shelf space on a game that's not one of the essentials for you. Well, it has been day 205, and we've been speaking about the game Chameleon. And you've been speaking to the Meeples Champion. Like, share, subscribe, and check down below in the description where I'll be adding an Amazon link in case you want to get this game for your collection. Until next time, I'll talk to you tomorrow.